Hello everyone, and welcome to the instruction video for the softcover notebook kit from Luminary Lines, and thank you for supporting our Luminary Lines and purchasing our kit. So let's get started by seeing all the things that come in your kit. So you will see thread and a needle for sewing the paper onto the cover. You will see cardboard for the cover. This one, and there's plenty of options to choose on other kits. But this one, it's double-sided, so you can choose which side you like better. You will also find 30 sheets of paper for the inside of your notebook. 30 sheets of paper is 120 pages for you to write, draw, plan, and do all the awesome stuff that you want to do. You will also find bone folders and a creasing tool, a template for the punctures and the sewing, an awl to puncture your paper, a metal ruler, and a utility knife. Now, you have enough thread to probably make 2 more notebooks, or to redo this one if something goes a little wrong. I don't think it will. I think I made it fairly easy to get it done, but there's plenty of thread, so don't be worried. And the end result will be something like this. This one is obviously with different cover, but the stitching will be something like this. And on the inside, if you want your pages lined, like this one, before you start anything, you need to print the lines into your sheets. And I will leave in the video description some templates where you can do this, maybe lines or squares and even dots if you want to draw. And you basically just put this into your printer like this. And so once you fold in half, you have the pages with the lines. Now, before we start, let me just say that you can use regular paper, like any paper you will buy for your printer for this, and it will probably be a little easier. So these sheets are not exactly A4, and you will see that one side is slightly rugged, and that is because I cut this paper from bigger sheets of paper, and so this side is a little rugged from the cut. But I want you to have a little bit of the bookbinding experience, and that includes trimming paper and trimming the notebook once it's done. But if you use regular A4 or A3 sheets of paper, you probably won't have to do much trimming. But you know, do this video till the end. You'll get the feel of it, and if you wanted to continue do it, you will see what I mean with the trimming. So let's get started. The first step is to fold your paper in half. So if you don't want to put it in the printer, you just fold it in half. You don't have to do 1 sheet at a time. You can do probably 2 or 3 at a time. I wouldn't do more than that, just because sometimes the paper gets wobbly, and then it's also harder to align the corners if you have a lot of sheets. But you know, 3, I think it's probably fine if you do 3 at a time. That's not a big issue. Again, like I said, we are going to trim the paper in the end, so not terrible. But yeah, fold all 30 sheets of paper, and I'll meet you back once all of that is done. Okay, so now that everything is folded, I just need to get all of this out of the way. You are going to put all of the paper inside each other, and as much as possible try to keep the rough edge to the same side, just because it's easier to trim, and it's also easier when you are aligning the pages to have one side and always the same side. That is nice and flat. Beautiful. Next step is cover. So just choose the side, if it's a double-sided, and fold it in half. That's it. So, and we will trim this and this in a bit, so don't bother. If this excess is too much, you can just cut it now so it doesn't bother you as much. I'm probably going to do that. So now you will need your awl and your template. So this is where all of the holes for your stitching are going to be, and this is roughly the size of the paper. But again, we are going to trim it, so that's why there's so much space here and here. For puncturing, you can either do it all at once, and I'm going to do it all at once just so to avoid misalignments in the paper. But if you find it too hard, you can do like 5 or 6 sheets of paper at a time. If you're not super sure, that is okay, because once you're stitching, the pages will align and you can just trim the excess. To puncture the holes, you are going to basically align your template, and you can either use a book that you have lying around, and I promise that your book will be perfectly safe. After this is done, you can just align the pages here and just puncture like this, and this just basically gives a nice stable work space for you to puncture. Or if you've done this before, you, like in the studio here, we use a punching cradle, which is basically mimics the same, just mimics this kind of edge. So whatever you use, it's fine. Some people even just hold it like this and puncture. I don't do it because I don't like how you're not puncturing straight, and if the template moves, then your holes will be misaligned. So yeah, I use a punching cradle. And actually, I think I'm going to do this in 2 separate, because this is a lot of paper. So I think I'll do this in 2 different, in 2 separate modes. So I'll do about half. This isn't, not exactly half, but good enough. So again, book or punching cradle, whatever you have around, and just fold your template in half. Use the line in the middle to guide your fold, and just puncture. That is it. If you want to do different measures from these, that is fine. You basically grab a piece of paper that is the same height of your sheets of paper, and just measure different, just measure a couple of different distances between your holes. Get creative. If you want to do like bigger stitching on one side and smaller stitching on the inside, it's your notebook. You can truly get creative. This is just to get you started. So there you go. Now we just have all of our sheets. Let's also do the cover. The cover, you can align it more or less, because again, we are going to trim it. We've trimmed a bit of the excess before we started, so you don't have to be super precise because we will trim everything in the end. Okay, there we go, all done. So you can put your all in your template aside, and we will now align the holes in the signature with the holes in the cover. And like this. Amazing. Grab your needle and thread, and we are going to use the signatures to measure how much thread we are going to use. And I'd say we have about 10 holes, so about 6. Yeah, that should be enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 extra for good measure. And if our thread ends halfway through, then that's great, because then I can teach you how to add more thread. Okay, so now you thread your needle. I think this is one of the hardest parts. Okay, it wasn't that bad. Okay. So here you have an option. You can, so that this doesn't move, you can lock your needle in the thread by putting the needle through this thread and just locking it. You just pull it down and then it won't move. I don't like it, and I think it wastes a bit of thread, so I'll just go like this and do a little knot in the end so it doesn't slip through the hole. Let's do 2. Okay, and we are good to start. So you will start by, let me see if I can film this right, by just going from the inside of the notebook to the outside through the cover. So through the paper and through the cover, like this, and pull. This is a lot of thread, so just keep an eye out to avoid tangling and knots. Ideally, you would do this not like I'm doing here, because I'm obviously trying to film with as much detail as possible, but you would do it like this and this, the spine of the notebook facing you at the edge of your work table. It's a lot easier, but here, because I'm just trying to get the filming done, you will see me move this quite a bit. But yeah, ideally flat surface. You can even put a little weight here and just work with the spine facing you. It's a lot easier. Okay, so now that we've done our first stitch, we've gone from the inside out, and now we are going from outside in. So into the cover and then into the signatures. And because it's a lot of paper, you might need to wiggle the paper a little bit, and there we go. pull through. And a little bit of tension. So when you're pulling the thread, always pull it to the side that you are stitching. So like this. If you pull it that way, you will rip it, or you can pull it a little bit to the front, but never to this side, because otherwise you will rip your paper. So that is stitch number 1. Again, we are going to the outside. So in through the paper, out through the cover, and pull through. Make sure it's not knotting. And now, to get this effect like this, we are going to run our thread through the previous stitch as such. A little bit of tension and into the same hole again. So I should have threaded my needle. I should have locked my needle. So like I was saying, into the same hole. And there you go, your first chain stitch. So now we just do this till the end. Into the previous stitch, in this case through both of the threads. And into the same hole. Sometimes it gets a little hard to pull the needle. You can either try to enlarge the hole, or if you have a plier, a small plier, just you can use it to grab the needle and pull through. It just makes it a little easier. If you want to personalize your notebook further, you could even do some beading on your stitches. So once you go from the inside out, you can use a little bead to add a little bit of color, or I don't know, just to make it even more your own. Okay, now that we get to the final stitch, you start by going the same as the other stitches. So from the inside of your signature to the outside of the cover. So and as you can see, this was plenty of thread. You have still enough in your kit to do a couple of more notebooks. And this is regular linen thread, so you can just purchase some more. in different colors. Continue the stitching, the chain stitch as you did before. As I was saying, this is just it's fairly regular thread. I wouldn't use cotton thread because it will break. You can use polyester, that is okay. Most bookbinders don't, but for some projects, look, it's absolutely fine. You can even use very thin ribbon. So yeah, same stitch, go back on the inside, and we will tie the stitch and finish our project. These notebooks are great. I make these notebooks for myself all the time when I go traveling, and I want, you know, to take a little, create like a little diary of my trips and save receipts and ticket stubs and all sorts of random things that I find interesting whenever I'm traveling. So yeah, this is a great project if you want to do them a little smaller. You have the basis to keep doing them. Okay, so now that we came to the inside, we are going to finish this knot. So you just go around the previous stitch and create a little loop, and your needle goes inside the loop. And just pull. For good measure, do it again, or if you can do it to the other side if you like. Again, a loop, and your needle goes inside the loop. And that is it. Your notebook is almost done. Cut the excess. Same here. If you don't want to have this lonely stitch at the top, when you do the first stitching, you can, once you go here, you can just loop back and bridge this gap, or you go on the inside, go from the inside out and then into the same hole, and you just need to use something like another needle or a toothpick to hold the stitch. But yeah, your notebook is pretty much done, so it's all stitched. It's not going anywhere, and now we just need to trim the excess. So A5 notebooks have 14.8 centimeters. Again, you have room to play if you don't want it that short. You can pretty much just trim a little bit and keep as much of the paper as possible. Honestly, it's up to you. There's no really much right or wrong in this case. So let's just grab a pencil and let's just measure how much we want to cut. So now you will align your ruler with the measurements that you got, and with your utility knife. I mean, this one is in the kit, this one is similar. Make sure that the blade is super sharp, and what you are going to do is just slowly keep putting your blade through the paper and just cut the excess. You don't have to do a lot of strength. Let the blade do the work for you. Just be careful, don't hurt yourself. can, my blade is clearly not sharp enough because it caught the paper here, but you can just put a little bit of glue. But yeah, nice and sharp edge. Now let's do the same at the top. This one is not as perfect. What you might do is just measure and cut again. Much better. See the difference with the sharp blade? It doesn't thread the paper. Okay, so now we've done top, bottom. So now we need to do our forage. So like I said, A5 will have 14.8 centimeters. So we could do 15, or you could use the edge of your paper to just cut the excess. I'm going to do that. So same, align your ruler, sharp blade, nice and steady. So that's it. This is your notebook. 120 pages ready to go. And I hope you had fun. And I really hope you keep doing them. Every time you find some fun paper that you love, that you think will make a great cover, just go ahead. Go nuts. Thank you.